Hey guys, welcome back to the Curly Reader. My name's Amanda, and today we're going to be doing my March plan with me. So, before we start with the March section, I am going to flip back and I'm adding a page to my annual spreads. I this year have decided to add a DNF spread. So, in case you don't know, DNF means did not finish. And I would like to keep track of all of the books that I am DNFing this year. And so I decided to add this spread. Luckily, I thought in advance to add some blank pages to the front of my journal exactly for this reason, because I figured I would come up with some more things I wanted to keep track of, and this is a prime example of that. So I'm just drawing this little drawing. It kind of looks like a little notepad. I'm using my Micron pens to sketch it out, to outline it. I will link all of the supplies that I'm using today down below. Mostly it is my Micron pens and my Mildliners. That's the base of what I'm using. I do pull in a couple of Crayola Super Tips markers as well. But for the most part, Micron and Mildliner, that's what I'm using. Those I am finding are my preferred supplies as far as pens go. I really like the way they write. The only thing I will say is it's really hard to erase pencil out from under the Mildliners, which I found out later. So, you know, it is what it is. But for the lettering this time around, I decided to just do bubble outlines. I'm doing these with edges. I did some in a previous one where it was more of the bubbly rounded edges. This one I'm doing with corners, and then I will fill it in with markers, but I don't color it in. I just write the letters and it doesn't exactly line up, and I really like that look. So you'll see I just write the letters, but I don't really pay attention to whether or not I'm staying inside the line or not. And then as I DNF books throughout the year, I'll just list them here. So I will have a list at the end of the year of all of the books that I DNF, because I do not count those in my reading stats as far as books completed. I don't count it unless I actually complete it. So I just wanted to kind of be able to tell how many books I'm DNFing and have a resource for that. So now we're going back to my March spreads, and this month we're doing rainbows. So I really like these just very, very simple rainbows. I used like a red, blue, and yellow. Very, very basic. Just drew all these little rainbows. Once again, using my Mildliners for this. Did a little bubble lettering. All of the writing this time around is going to be in grays. So I'm using these three, red, yellow, blue. It's more of a pink actually, and then gray, and that's it throughout the whole month. And so I tried to just keep it really, really cohesive in that regard. And so I'm adding all of these little rainbows and then doing the bubble letters. And yeah, that's it. So I'm going to turn you over to some music and we'll go from there. All right, and as you saw, I just used a fine liner, random gray fine liner that I had to outline the letters, and then I'm coloring them in with the Crayola Super Tips. Here I started using the wrong color, but it is what it is. Outlining it in gray, doing the letters in gray, and then adding a drop shadow of color. I really, really love the way that these turned out. This is probably one of my favorite effects. I used a very similar effect on one of my annual spreads. And I just really like the way that it looks. So that is how I'm doing my list page. This is where I list out specific books I have to read throughout the month, videos I know I want to be filming throughout the month, and then I have a little notes section as well for important dates, events, anything like that I come across throughout the month as well. All right, and now we're moving on to my posting schedule. This is just a calendar of the month where I will write in when I post videos. So as I'm posting them, I write them in so that at the end of the month, I have a calendar layout showing me how many videos I posted, what that looked like, all that kind of thing. So for this calendar, I never write the month on the calendar. I never write the days of the week on the calendar. I just know that it's the month of the section that I'm in, and I always write my calendars Sunday through Saturday. So it doesn't make a difference to me whether the month and the days of the week are on there. I do write the date, the number of the date though, because that's important. So I'm outlining everything in this gray fine liner, and then I will write the day of the month in the center with a gray marker, and then adding the colored drop shadow once again. With those Mildliners, I also have a little bit of a rainbow doodle at the top, and then that same bubble lettering at the bottom in red and yellow and blue. All right, and now we're moving over to my middle grade March spread. So if you are not aware, I am helping host middle grade March this year, and it is a month-long readathon throughout the entire month of March in which we encourage everyone to read middle grade. And this is the readathon that got me into BookTube, that got me like super excited about middle grade, and now middle grade is over half of my reading, and this readathon means so much to me, and I'm so excited to be on the team hosting it this year. And so I had to have a dedicated middle grade March spread, and so I'm just putting a rainbow here. My goal is to write out my TBR in the rainbow, and then as I read the books, I will highlight them in the appropriate color for whichever stripe of the rainbow it's in, so that by the end of the month, it'll be colorful. So right now it's very simplistic because I don't have my TBR written out on it yet. But after I get done filming this, I'm going and putting my TBR, writing it all out on here in gray fine liner. And then as I go throughout the month, I'll just highlight either in red or pink, yellow or blue, which ones I've actually accomplished in red. And then I'll have a colorful rainbow by the end of the month that will show me all the wonderful middle grade books that I have read throughout the month. I did decide to color in the gray background here, and I don't know if I really love that decision, but we're just rolling with it because it's already done. But it is what it is. I think if I would have gone back and done it again, I probably just would have colored in the letters instead, but you can't take it back now, so we're just rolling with it. All right, that took a lot longer than expected, but we got it done. And then I just wrote the group book here on the rainbow to give you an idea of what my vision is for this page. And so I'll fill it up with all the other titles I have on my TBR. And then we're moving over to my growing TBR page and my reading log. This is where I list out all the books that I'm adding to my Goodreads TBR throughout the month, as well as where I hear about them from. Once again, outlining things in my gray fine liner, and then I will highlight the letters in the Mildliners. And then on the opposing page, I have my reading log for the month, where it's just a chart of all the books that I read throughout the month, and whether I own it, borrow it, if it's audiobook, physical book, the age range. Most of these will be middle grade for this month, if not all. And then I also include my star rating, as well as if it's a graphic novel or not. So that is what I include on my reading log, and they're just very basic list pages. So yeah. All right, and then the last thing I needed to do was add my little doodle on my cover page. This is where I just have a little doodle from each of my months so that by the end of the year I can see all of my different themes throughout the year. So I just added a little rainbow here to finish off the month. All right, and that's it. Here's the final flip through. All right, and that's it for this month. I hope that you enjoyed this, and I hope that you stick around and subscribe. And until next time, see ya!